Hello and welcome to Outside Xbox, where it's time to have a look at the brand new Xbox One S, a machine that finally proves what people under 5'3" have been telling us for years, that good things do come in small packages. Clearly the reason most people will be picking up an S is because it's smaller than the original Xbox One, which boasts the exact same size, shape and huggability as a 1980s VHS recorder. And if you're too young to know what a VHS is, then imagine a DVD, but worse in every conceivable way. There are other reasons to pick up an Xbox One S though, ones that you might not have realised come as part of the package. Here are 6 new things the Xbox One S does, and one that it doesn't. Let's get this one out of the way first. Yes, you can probably remember that HDR was mentioned at E3 as the significant gaming upgrade for the Xbox One S, but perhaps you don't actually know A, what that means, and B, why you should care. HDR stands for High Dynamic Range, and on compatible televisions means you'll get more vibrant colours, better, more gradual contrast between light and dark, and improved brightness overall. The only problem is that compatible televisions almost certainly doesn't include your television. Still, if you've yet to upgrade to a 4K TV, you might want to go for HDR as well. The first games to properly support High Dynamic Range will be Gears of War 4 and Forza Horizon 3, so those beautiful Australian sunsets in Horizon 3 will be picked out in even more vivid detail, and I guess in Gears 4 you'll have a better idea of what the hell was going on in this nighttime scene.
Tell me you heard that!
There!
It's on the move!
After it!
Surprise, the Xbox One S is currently the best way to play all your Xbox One games, regardless of whether you've blown your life savings on a 4K HDR television. According to video game rocket scientists and friends of Xbox Digital Foundry, the graphics processor inside the Xbox One S is overclocked by 7.1% over the regular console. Ostensibly that's to allow for the fancy new HDR effect, but actually it's extra power that's been made available to every single Xbox One game, including any that you already own. Games that are limited by CPU rather than graphics, such as Fallout 4, don't see much if any improvement, but games like Project Cars, which are shooting for 60 frames per second, can be noticeably smoother even for people who don't have robot eyes like the escaped benchmarking androids of Digital Foundry. For the full details and analysis, check out Digital Foundry on YouTube, where they count every single frame so you don't have to. The deviants. Link in the description below. As you'd expect, the Xbox One S comes with a matching controller in similar crispy white. It's slightly redesigned with more durable thumbsticks and grippier plastic all round. What's more interesting though is the internals. For a start, the controller has increased range, meaning if you want to wander all the way to the fridge and back without breaking your Xbox Live Party chat, you can probably do it. Just promise to mute it if you're going to the bathroom, yeah? We don't need to hear those noises piped directly into our ear. The other neat thing is the controller now works via Bluetooth as well, meaning that if you're one of the people who Microsoft is convinced wants to play their Xbox games streamed to Windows 10, you can use the same controller on your PC without having to plug in or buy some sort of dongle that you'll accidentally snap off the front of your PC with your knee. The Xbox One S supports 4K Ultra HD resolution, but only when it comes to video. You'll have to wait for the mysterious Super Xbox One of the future, known as Project Scorpio, to play games in 4K. But while a lot of fuss has been made over the 4K streaming capabilities like Netflix 4K and eventually Amazon Video 4K, you might not realise that the S is also a fully functioning 4K Blu-ray player. Naturally, 4K Blu-ray will be the most crisp, prettiest 4K content around, and given that a standalone 4K Blu-ray player would cost $200 or 150 quid, it's one of the more cost-effective ways to get one into your home. Of course, you do need to factor in the cost of buying the entire Star Wars saga on yet another format. While we're on the subject, does anyone want a copy of the Star Wars DVD box set? All reasonable offers considered. The original Xbox One's unwieldiness wasn't helped by the fact that you couldn't really prop it on its side. It just sort of sat there, defiantly horizontal and taking up masses of space on your TV unit. It's not like you could stick anything on top of it either, because the entire thing was basically vents. Not only will the Xbox One S happily stand on its side, Microsoft positively encourages the curious to give it a whirl by bundling a plastic stand for free with every Xbox One S. Certainly beats the £15 you have to pay for an official stand for certain other consoles. I'm just playing PlayStation, we love you really. One of the reasons the Xbox One S can be so much smaller than the big black Darth Vader of consoles that was the Xbox One is because of new processor architecture, which we've discovered is much smaller than building architecture. That new processor architecture also means that the console makes its power more efficiently. much more efficiently, so you can play your Xbox One games often at slightly better frame rates, all while using 25 to 40% less electricity. That means if you spend hours per week glued to your console, it's not only good for your wallet, but altogether better for the environment, which I guess means you're allowed to set fire to one extra car tyre a year if you like. Hey, I said if you like. As for the one thing the Xbox One S won't do, the one thing the Xbox One S won't do is magically switch on when you don't want it to. Yes, that ridiculous touch-sensitive power button on the first Xbox One, which would switch on if you so much as brushed it with an errant limb, is gone from the Xbox One S in favour of a proper mechanical button, just like the good old days. Maybe that's how it's really saving so much electricity, just by not being accidentally switched on every time someone ventures near it. I see your game, Microsoft. So there you go, there's a brief rundown of all the things the brand new Xbox One S can do. Will you be trading in your old Xbox One for this slinky new model, or waiting for the all-conquering Project Scorpio next year? Let us know in the comments because we are genuinely interested, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. See you next time.